Okay, here comes part 2. Let's dive into the DAS. DAS stands for Direct Attached Storage. DAS uses the hard drives that came with the system. You can also add more hard drives into the expansion bays in the PAX servers. Typically you can add 10 to 12 drives, which would yield about 2 to 3 terabytes of capacity. This is the least expensive approach for small storage requirements. But there are two serious drawbacks to DAS. One, there is no redundancy. If the server fails, access to the data is lost until the server is repaired. Also, there is the problem of running out of space. Once those drives are filled up, you're out of space with no way to expand your storage capacities. SAN. SAN stands for Service. I cannot talk today. SAN stands for Storage Area Network. SAN refers to a I should just give this one up. SAN refers to a network dedicated to storage access. With a SAN configuration, you have a database server and separate disk device server, typically a RAID array. These two devices are connected by fiber channel switch. As we've talked about before, both the database server and disk device will have backups. Both of these are also connected through the fiber channel switch. SAN can provide logic to copy data from one storage node to another, providing data storage redundancy. And the SAN is very scalable. More drives can be added to the RAID array, or another whole disk device could be added if necessary. SAN is the most common storage solution in use today. However, given the pace of technology changes, both the VNA and HPMA are rapidly gaining market share. And I don't think I talked about the HPMA. HPMA is a Hewlett-Packard Medical Archive. It's like a big VNA on steroids. Right? So VNAs are typically attached to a PAX system and they store just the images. A medical archive allows all the different medical computer applications, the RIS, the HIS, the LIS, the SIS, all of those to put all of their medical information into one gigantic, super redundant archive. Hewlett-Packard Medical Archive. All of the medical information from the RIS, from the PAX, the cardiology system, the lab system, it all goes into one big archive. It's all stored there and it all comes out as needed. So that's another idea that's gaining market share. So the great thing about a SAN is you can put as much disks or as few disks in it. You can make it as big as you need it, as small as you need it, whatever you need to be fast. And right, it has the fiber channel switch that does the redundancy, so it backs it up on either side. It's just a lot better than a DAS. NAS. NAS stands for Network Attached Storage. It's also SAN spelled backwards, but that's not really important. NAS uses an existing network with standard network protocols and Ethernet cables to provide storage. This contrasts with a SAN, which typically uses a dedicated fiber channel to provide faster direct access to the storage devices. Most PAX systems leverage the existing hospital network to connect devices to PAX and use a NAS as a short-term storage solution. This obviously takes advantage of the network in place rather than building an entirely separate network just for PAX. The drawbacks are it's a shared network with all other applications on the hospital network system, and it's not as fast as a direct fiber channel connection. Grid storage. Grid storage creates fault-tolerant storage pools of inexpensive servers called grid servers. Each grid server usually contains 4 internal drives, a processor, and a modest amount of memory. Each of the grid servers runs vendor-specific software that allows the devices to act as one unit. At least one server will act as the interface or broker between the grid and the PAX database server. The broker will store data on one node of the grid and then copy to another node on the grid, so this is how redundancy is achieved. This is a relatively inexpensive archive solution, however it has a couple of significant drawbacks. One is it takes up a lot of physical space. Each grid server will only hold a max of 2 terabytes, so you would need a lot of them. Also, they are running proprietary software, so you're at the mercy of the vendor if one fails. This is an older technology idea that's pretty much fallen out of favor. I don't know of anybody that still runs this. Who knows, you may find the one clinical site that still runs grid storage. Cloud storage. Cloud storage involves using a third-party IT company to provide your storage online. All your files are sent to a gateway and then stored someplace in the world. The advantage of this is you don't have to worry about managing your storage solution. You are paying someone else to cope with that headache. The drawback is you have no control over your data. If they lose it, well, they lose it. The best negotiated contract can have all the penalties and fines in it, but if your patient's imaging files are lost, you will have a hard time convincing patients that they should continue to get care at your hospital. Personally, I want that data in my local archive where I can check on it every day. So, there's a whole bunch of different storage configurations here. You may have a DAS, you may have a SAN, you may have a NAS, you may have grid storage, cloud storage, and because you'll probably have short-term storage and long-term storage, you may have a NAS with a SAN. You might have a NAS with a DAS. You might have a SAN with a grid. You might have a grid with a SAN. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. Keep in mind that everybody builds their PAC system the way they like it. There's no standard configuration. There's no one right way to do it. So you may run into all different types of storage configurations and combinations of these technologies. And last but not least, business continuity. Although not technically a part of storage technology, I feel I should point out, in addition to the copies in the archive, there should be a third copy of the image file data stored off-site. If there's a fire in the data center and all the servers are lost in the fire, hopefully you have a complete set of files stored somewhere else across town. And these files are often stored on some cheap media like CD, DVD, or magnetic tape. Because you're going to store a whole bunch of data and you'll probably, hopefully, never need it. That's why most people use a low-cost storage technology. Maybe cheap's the wrong word. It gives the impression that it's not good when it's just cost-effective. Each facility has a unique business continuity storage strategy. It's important to know what it is and make sure your backup files are up to date. I hope you don't ever need them, but you'll sleep better knowing they're there, and you don't want to be that facility that lost all 5 million images, because you're not going to bring every patient back and redo their images. Thank you for watching.